Everybody, welcome to JLB Sports TV. I am Justin Block, and
my name is Greg Basson.
You may recognize Greg from some of the other channel videos, and we decided to get together and do a dual video. This will be a Roy Hodgson report card video. He's been at the Liverpool Reigns for a couple months now. We're about 2 months into the season, and we just wanted to discuss and give our opinions on how he's doing. Now, if we start off with summer signings, I'm giving him an A. And you may think, well, who did we bring in this season? I don't really know. Well, we brought in Joe Cole, Raul Meireles, Paul Konchesky, Milan Ivanovic, some pretty quality signings right there. John Joe Shelby, Danny Wilson, some couple guys for the future. And given the fact that Liverpool had little to no resources to work with, and we had to sell to buy players and actually took in a surplus of £13 million, Roy did a great job on the transfer market. I know teams like Manchester City, they spent hundreds of millions of pounds and brought in, David Silva and Yaya Toure and whatever, but they had to spend a lot of money. Liverpool spent very, very little. They made money. Liverpool didn't spend anything.
Actually, if you look at it, Man City is in £121 million of debt
exactly
this year, and that's because they had more in player wages than they made in revenue.
So I guess if you're looking at it in terms of player talent brought in or players brought in to money spent, Liverpool is number one, and now, that's why Hodgson gets an A.
Yeah, please note, this is not, us commending Hicks and Gillette.
No.
This is us basically saying that there is a difference between, bringing in quality players and being smart with the money. And we have been smart with the money.
Moving on to player management, right now Roy is getting a C. You know why? Because when you have Daniel Agger going out and questioning your tactics, and you have players being out loud and outspoken in the dressing room to the media criticizing you, that's a little worrisome when you have Daniel Agger saying, wait, why am I punching the ball 40 yards downfield every time I get it? I want to kick it on the ground. So right there, Roy gets a C for player management. In terms of tactics and lineups, well, frankly, I just don't understand his lineups. He's playing guys totally out of position. We have Raul Meireles, Portuguese international, who was signed and advertised as a direct replacement for Javier Mascherano, playing on the right. How does that make any sense whatsoever? And then we have Poulsen and Lucas playing in the center. And we saw last year how poor the combination of Mascherano and Lucas and how uncreative they were in the center. Well, now you subtracted Mascherano and injected Poulsen. Do you expect that to be any better?
Also, let's not forget, when they played Meireles against Stoke Bucharest, he actually looked pretty good in the central defensive midfield. And then, with that, we've seen Poulsen and Lucas how many times? And it's been unproductive. I mean, you cannot play the same lineup every single time and have it work. You cannot expect different results.
But Hodgson, we just ask that you play players in the natural positions, which means not playing Meireles on the right, playing Cole behind the striker and not on the wings, and just never playing Jamie Carragher at left back, because that's just never a good idea.
Well, he meant Agger.
Yeah. It also seems that we've officially adopted Hodgson's 4-4-2 that he took from Fulham, and nothing is wrong with the 4-4-2 except for the fact that I don't really like Cout as a natural second striker. He isn't a quality set. He's not a natural second striker. He's fine in the wings and on midfield where he can be industrious, but as a support striker, that's just no good. Also, the team has no width. Literally, Glenn Johnson from right back is the only person that can provide any width whatsoever down the wings, and being that he's a right back, that leaves him totally exposed in defense, and we have paid for that dearly. Also, when you play guys like Meireles, a central midfielder, and Cole, a guy who's normally used to playing on center, out on the left and right, they're naturally going to drift infield, and that just creates horrible congestion. Right now, Liverpool's attack is completely down the middle. When they do get wide, and when players do get wide and get crosses in, well then usually good things happen. Also, Hodgson subs have made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Why isn't Ingog coming on against Utrecht? And why? And does Hodgson actually think that Maxi Rodriguez is a guy that you're going to bring on to get you that goal? I mean, I just don't understand Maxi Rodriguez's purpose in life. And the fact that he's rated ahead of Babel is a complete atrocity. I know both haven't performed that well this season, but at least Babel has some ability to score or ability to make things happen. Maxi Rodriguez has none of that. This is the starting 11 that I would like to see be put out, where you have Reina in goal, Johnson on the right, Carragher and Skrtel pairing in the center of the park. When Konchesky is healthy, I'd like to see Konchesky at left back. And then pairing in the center of the midfield, I'd like to see Mireles and then Gerrard playing a little bit in front of him. Cole playing right in behind the strikers. On the left, gotta see Jovanovic there. On the right, gotta see Kaut there. And then at striker, of course, Fernando Torres, maybe David Ngog. We saw Fernando Torres have to be substituted within the first 10 minutes of today's game. So it looks like a grain strain or a groin pull. We'll see how that works out, but Ngog or Torres up top.
Wait, why was he playing today? And why was he playing after playing against Utrecht for 90 minutes?
I don't know. So for tactics and lineups, we are giving Roy Hodgson a D. As for inspiration,
look, as many of you know, I did my whole Carling Cup rant, and that was just... There was no inspiration in that game, and we've seen very little inspiration throughout the year. The greatest game we've seen was against Arsenal, and that was a draw where we got 1-1. We had 10 men in the second half, and we still were able to pull out, a decent performance over the course of 90 minutes.
Oh, that was a great game. Great game. Should have won it.
However, we've had since then, and even then, that first half was kind of lackluster, but we've had no real first half performance that has been great. And we've never had a full 90 minutes where you felt, wow, you felt great. You felt, oh my God, these guys have come out. No, we've always had this lackluster first 45 minutes where you're just pulling your hair out going, what the hell are we doing? And you cannot be a first half, you cannot be a second half team in this league. You cannot be a second half team in any league. It is going to bite you in the ass somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot do this.
And why don't we move on to the overall game performance? I know we had a tough first month, draws against, getting Manchester City, Manchester United, and Arsenal within the first month. I know that's difficult, but, I think the issue is, Manchester United, Manchester City, and Arsenal. Those are tough games that you don't expect to get maximum points and draws out of all the games. But drawing to Birmingham, Sunderland, a host of Europa League teams, and then losing to Blackpool is completely unexcusable. And it'd be different if Liverpool played well enough to win these games and then we're just unlucky. No, Liverpool, frankly, deserved to lose some of the games, especially the one against Birmingham, and have been lucky to even manage draws out of those games. It's not like they played well enough to win. No, they played badly.
What is our home record right now? I really want to know.
I don't know.
Because there is the old saying, this is Anfield. Does that mean anything anymore?
Yeah, I think so for game performance, we're giving Roy Hodgson a D. Overall, Roy Hodgson, you're getting a D. Yes, you've had little to no resources to work with, and you jumped into a sinking ship, and you drew Man U, Man City, and Arsenal within the first month. But the things that you have direct control over, which are tactics, lineups, providing leadership and inspiration, have been relatively poor. Like I said, drawing against Birmingham, drawing against Sunderland, losing to Blackpool, and drawing against a host of Europa League teams, and playing pretty badly in those games is simply unexcusable. On paper, this club should be getting maximum points or close to maximum points out of these kinds of games, or at least playing well enough to win. And the fact that Blackpool, a championship level side, can come into Anfield and play with more confidence than the home side is completely disgraceful. This is Anfield means nothing to opposing teams anymore, and nobody's afraid to face Liverpool anymore. Nobody. Additionally, his questionable tactics and lineups have had a direct correlation to Liverpool's relatively terrible performance these first 2 months of the season. He hasn't consistently put the best Liverpool starting 11 out there week in and week out. And the players, they shouldn't be in such poor form, but Hodgson's lineups themselves have been puzzling. That's why Hodgson is getting a D for his managerial performance. We are in no way calling for Hodgson to be sacked. This is a Liverpool Football Club. We stand by our managers 110%, but that does not mean they are not immune to some criticism. We will stand with our Reds and with Hodgson until the absolute end of time, or until we get new owners and they decide that it's time to bring in Jose Mourinho.
Well, let's not forget, this is a newlywed period for him. The honeymoon ended after Manchester City, let's face it. But this is still a newlywed period where he's trying to feel the club out, feel out the players. But there is a difference between feeling out the players and still adjusting,
but honestly,
and just not getting what the heck is going on and not seeing trends.
Right now, Liverpool cannot afford a honeymoon. This is a team that needs to get back. Liverpool needs to get back into the top four this season. They need to be in the top four if they want to have, or at least if they want to have any hope of holding on to Torres and holding on to these great players in the summer.
Hell, Torres might even leave in January if we do not start performing right now.
That's all for today for JLB Sports TV. I'm Justin Block. I hate to say it, but Roy Hodgson, you are getting a D from us. We will stand by you. We will stand by Liverpool 110% until the end. That's all for today for JLB Sports TV. I'm Justin Block. This is Greg Vizone.
Can I get a quick shout out in?
Yes.
Thank you to the Northampton Town Forum, the Hotel Lens, for posting my last video. I should have given you guys more credit in that game. But, you know, thank you very much. And I am taking care of my acne, which you guys pointed out a lot.
And I would also like to give a quick shout out to EmpireTheCop.com, LFCGlobe.com, and AnfieldOnline.co.uk. 3 great sites. They usually host my Liverpool videos. Big shout out to them. Without them, this channel would be absolutely nothing. Follow me on Twitter at JBlock49. Follow him on Twitter at NJNY. We are always tweeting to them during the Liverpool games. So on match day, come tweet with us. Subscribe to us. That's all for today at JLB Sports TV. YNWA to the end.
You'll never walk alone.